live, Pierre, after a long video.
Welcome back to another special early edition of the Hockey Nation Live Show. This is your coach Francis directly from the Sunshine State in Florida. And we have to go all the way to the West Coast to find co-host Michael DiVillano.
Morning, Pierre.
Good morning, everybody.
You have the breaking news sound to play?
About?
The Minnesota Wild have announced a signing.
Yeah, I got that one also. It just get it like a couple of minutes ago, like 5 minutes ago, 5.1.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Is that the number that you... So Kevyn Fealos, for people who don't know, it was just popped up. Kevyn Fealos signed a contract with the Minnesota Wild. There's been a bunch of signings we'll kind of touch on quickly this weekend, but Kevyn Fealos signs with Minnesota, so that's good news for Minnesota. He signs for 5.1. Are you surprised it's not a little bit more?
Not really. I think the reason behind that is because it's a bridge contract. He's going to be a free agent after that. So as 25 years old, I believe, 26, I believe he is. Yeah, 25 years old. So he's RFA. After that, he's going to be a UFA, I believe.
So is the term announced at 2 years?
No, it's only 1 year.
1 year. Okay, that seems crazy to me. Man, that just seems like really risky.
You know, he's going to be free agent after that, right?
Yeah, that's like he's gone. Like, why would you let this guy not get locked up for a long term?
Because he maybe does not want to do it. So what happened about that one? He want to get 1 year and go from there and then negotiate about his contract. I think both ways is to see what happened, and you know, is really on the same path of what other players signed from Minnesota. If you think about Erickson is a 5.2. So
like
you know,
term, right? Like this is crazy. I'm actually kind of shocked at no term.
And also, yeah, you have to remember also the salary of them is about $30 million. And then in 2 years, their salary cap is going to hit about $40 million dead money.
Well, they won't have to worry about it, will they? Because they won't have Fiala and they won't have Kaprizov.
Well, I don't think so. I think, you know, I think for me, it's like Fiala want to see what happened after that. And then I think they can negotiate.
I mean, he's as good as gone at this point. If they have not locked him up, he has no reason to go long term with them. I mean,
but yeah, if he scored 30 goals, he can give him a $7.5 million for 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but anybody could give him that. He just got 20 goals, so I don't know. It's in 50 games. Yeah, I'm a little surprised. There's not even 2 years. You know, like you're like just letting him walk. This is going to be really interesting, especially like now. What do they do with Kaprizov? Does he even come? I don't know.
We don't know yet. It's very quiet on that one over there, but you know, the kids is like also a problem he have like Fiala. He's a little bit never have a full year in NHL. Also, always be hurt every year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he had 80 games with Nashville and he had 48 points that year. Then you're right. Well, no, that's not true. Then he had 83 the year after that. So he was only hurt last year and he had 54 points in 64 games. So because he had 64 games and then 19 games, the 20.
Yeah, you have an average about 10 games missing per game usually per season.
Not really. He played full years. Yeah, he played 83 games 1 year, Pierre.
No, but that's only a year he played full year.
No, he played back-to-back full years. He was traded in the middle of the year.
Yeah, so last year he missed 6 games. The year before he missed 8 games.
Yeah.
And then after that he played 82 games and then 80 games. Then he missed 54 games. I don't know if he was. I think he was like a little bit.
No, he was in the AHL.
Our season over there.
Yeah, he played in the AHL 22 games and 54 in the NHL. So I don't think he's an injury-prone player. I'm surprised that they didn't lock him up. I don't know what this says. This is kind of crazy.
It's because he become a UFA. That's the reason why.
Well, you let him become a UFA as the GM. to not lock him up, even to pay him another mil, like.
But it's because maybe they ask us if they do this 8 years or 6, 7, 8 years contract. He's maybe ask us 7.5, and he never score more at 23 goals per year.
I mean, he right now, game in, game out, he's kind of their second best player. So that's kind of surprising. It is what it is. I mean, I guess they're not too worried about it, but it feels like Minnesota's not only going to regress this year, but long term, the buyout looks even worse now of Parise and Suter. Like, if that's why you're not signing this guy, then that was the whole point, was to free up salary.
Well, they have to deal about that one. The good news the bad news is in 3 years, the salary cap increased, but still they're going to get hurt for the next 3 years following this year. They still have $4 million dead this year. 12 after 14, almost $15 million.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
It will be really, really, really interesting about that one over there. It's just funny. They gave Kolikoski $5 million and you gave 5.1.
What the hell are they doing, Pierre?
So
something's off there. These are really questionable decisions. They look like they were on the right path there. I'm kind of surprised. Well, it is what it is. Good morning to Nicola. Chainsaw Man has joined us this morning, Pierre. We got Michael Rosenblatt, and we got our friend Blake Wheeler fan. So we're excited about that. This one's an interesting one. Dmitry Kuzin is a 5'9" defenseman from Belarus.
Yeah, a 65, 69 overall pick.
Yeah,
third round pick, I believe.
So for them to sign him to entry level, I think it indicates they're going to bring him over to the AHL probably, right?
Yeah, it's happened a lot. The last 10 days, and I said this, it will happen a lot for the next until the beginning of the year. Some team get their ELC, a first round, second, or any round, honestly. If the player decide to play for the team under affiliation or they go AHL, whatever it is, So that's what happened about him. But this kid, is very small, good puck. Yeah. So would be interesting about that one over there for sure.
All right, we saw a whole bunch of signings. I know you've probably commented on a lot of these. We don't have to spend a lot of time on each one. The first one, just noting, Adu Radi signs a 2-way deal, so his entry-level contract, 2.75 or 2.77, was at one point highly rated. Are you surprised they signed his ELC so soon, or are they indicating that, hey, let's get this guy over and make him a pro?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised he got out a 52 overall pick by the Islanders. To be honest with you, I thought he would be out earlier. Many people put him from 15 to 25 for many elite prospect. And I think I really believe they make them. I think he's going to be a good hockey player in NHL. I think he have a lot of upside down. He did have a good year in Liga, play with the men, but again, it's not because you have a bad overall. It's going to be interesting to see him if he go to junior next season, how he's going to be. Honestly, he's going to be on the scoop by the people for sure. He's a potentially score first top 9 in NHL. He scored 15, 25 goals, I believe. The guy can play hockey.
I think so.
Now it's just to see he's going to learn to become a professional hockey player and what is work ethic. That's pretty much what happened last season. But I think Islanders should be happy to get him at that rank. Like a 52 overall pick.
Yeah, and I think the reality is if you're an NHL GM, most of them, if they see a dropping asset, they don't see it as an opportunity a lot of times. It depends, I guess, on the player. But I think he'll be a solid top 9. I don't see this guy being top 3, but he might be a real good third or second line center. You never know.
Yeah.
The other one that's interesting. So William Eklund, I think he was 7th overall to San Jose, highly skilled player, smaller, but some people say he's better overall than Lucas Raymond. And San Jose signs him to his entry-level contract. But it's interesting because the value of this is double what it is Adu Radi. So he obviously has some bonuses that are built in there.
Yeah. So, but first of all, you have a couple of clauses. So if you don't make the team, he's going to be back at the CHL. So they have a clause inside his contract. He put this inside his contract. Secondly, he have a lot of signing bonus game, like if he played 30 game, maybe something like that. So
Okay.
that's what he got, honestly. For many experts, he should be number 3 in this maybe 2 on this initial draft. Honestly, maybe he's the most skilled player in that draft over there as a player prospect, but would be interesting. I think he have a chance to make the team, to be honest with you, but we'll see what he could happen. I wouldn't be surprised if he is still around for at least the first month or something like that, and then they can decide about him and maybe back after that and the World Junior and then come back, whatever it is. But the kids can play hockey. Is a good on the top 10. I think he's one of the top 3 player. I believe he can make the NHL next season.
I agree with you. If anyone has his frame is not ideal, but his skill level is very high, and the stuff he does, the fact that he can play wing and center. I don't know if he's long term. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I think I would like to see him get a little stronger, but maybe the place to do that is come up, play 9 games in the NHL, play in the AHL, go to the World Juniors, work with the strength and conditioning guys in San Jose. Like maybe that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason he put that clause right there. See, if you don't make the team, he's not going to play AHL. He's going to be back home, and then he's going to be a part of the national team for the G20 in December. That's why he did that.
Got it. Okay. Brad Marchand's son has joined us. Thank you for the contribution this morning. We really appreciate it. He's excited that Blake Wheeler's in.
Yeah, the boys are back in the house this morning.
Yeah. Chainsaw Man asked a question not related to this. Is Drouin going to be playing with the Habs this year? Can't get for him. Okay. So it's going to be interesting.
He's on great term with Dominique Ducharme, and they're excited about him. And the only way I believe he's not going to be with Montreal, he's going to be a mega trade with Drouin involved with that part. So he's not going to be let go Drouin for a 5-round pick or a 6-round pick or a 4-round pick. I think they will get a trade, like example, Divorak for the Arizona. They're going to put Drouin inside this with a prospect, whatever it is. That's how he's going to be traded, Drouin. He's going to be a part of the package deal. But to trade him 1-to-1, I don't see it.
Okay, makes sense.
And never been mentioned, by the way, by Jonathan Drouin. Jonathan Drouin never request the Montreal Canadiens to let him go, whatever it is. He wants to play in Montreal.
There you have it. I'll just mention the Columbus defense when they signed Svozil. I really like him. He's like a kind of a bread and butter, very good defenseman.
Which one?
So they signed the Czech player. He might be Slovakian. I think he's Czech. Yeah, Czech defenseman Svozil. He's
a 60. It's another pick, like what, 60, something like that.
Yeah,
69. Here you go.
3rd round.
Yeah, it's a little bit a still about the 69 over there. You have a lot upside down with that defenseman. I think you have to. The skating is good, but not great. But again, I think he have like I said, I think he could be not this year. He still have about 1 or 2, 3 years before he make the NHL. But as a player, I'm going to watch for the J20 next season. Up there from December.
I think he'll fill out. He's one thing about him. He's not an offensive defenseman, but defensively, he's very difficult to play against. Like he is an excellent skater, very good positionally. So I actually like this signing. It's kind of interesting they grabbed him and signed him so early. So that's positive. All right, a couple other contracts we'll comment on. I didn't put this in any of the graphics. Jason Dickinson gets a 3-year deal, $8 million. And I know he's established himself a little bit as kind of like a 3rd, 4th line guy, right? He's never.
Jason is a top 9, right? So he's a top player at $2.6 million at 15 goals per year. I believe this is a good.
He's never scored that.
I'm sorry again?
He's never shown he can score that in the NHL.
How much he score?
His top year was 9 goals. He had 7 last year.
Really? I thought it was 13 goals somewhere, no?
No. That's why I was like really surprised the amount.
Well, it's not expensive at 2.6.
That's kind of pricey for what he does. I honestly thought he was going to get 1.5 or 1.7.
No, because he played very well on defensive side. You have a really good coverage on defensive side.
So I guess his previous contract was 1.5. So that they would have had to give him what 1.9. So I kind of thought he would get that, but I didn't anticipate this contract. So I was a little surprised. I thought it was a little high, but I guess they project him to being top 9 for them. So
Well, that's another good example there. So earlier you talk about Fiala, and then look what they did with him. They set up him for the 3 years. They get him for a little bit longer. They get him over the first year is going to be a RFA. Now he become after that a UFA. He said, "Look, I'm going to give you extra more money, but you'll be here for 3 years." So I think that's the reason why he got 2.6, including what we talked about earlier.
I think you're right. It'll be interesting to see if this contract is a problem. He's still a young player. I know he's capable 2 ways, but he's never, to me, really shown that he's a big offensive producer in the NHL.
No, he's a great defensive player. Zone coverage, return that the run. When they have a good run in Dallas during the Stanley Cup 2 years ago, he was a part of one really important with Jean Marc over there.
That is true.
And then I think at that moment also Robin Hens was the one play with them at that moment, because I think Hens was the third center behind Pavelski and Taylor Seguin or Jimmy Benn.
It's interesting you say that, Pierre, because if you look at Rupe Hens was almost a point a game last year. So what is Rupe Hens' contract is only 3.1. So you just paid them $500,000 difference, but this guy had 43 points in 41 games. Like, this guy's a legit number 2 center.
Yeah, that's fun. Between I was said to you about this, Michael, you have to remember, he did not sign his contract ends this year. He signed his contract last year, I believe, and he was a bridge contract. He's only 24 years old. So not say you're not right, but the reason why I believe he got that is that reason why he got this last year, Michael. So he's going to become 24, 25, 26. He's going to be a UFA after that. That's the reason he got that contract. Oh, he's going to be an RFA at the end of this contract.
I think this is like one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. I guess that maybe that's why they traded him.
Well, no, but the reason why, Michael, is because they trade him because he's going to be exposed on the expansion. He's going to lose him. That's the reason they got traded about that one there. Sure. But if you think about this, that's what the reason was sometimes the management take a decision about bridge contract or only 1 year, or we sign him a long term. So I think I think we should not put on the same boat Dickinson and Robin Hens.
Well, honestly. That's my point, right? There's only $500,000 between these 2 contracts, Pierre. And
it's just, for me, is the 2 things. For me, is the age. He got Robin Hens got this at 23 years old. Now Dickinson got it at 26, and then Dickinson's going to be UFA, and that's the reason he got 2 more years. By 2 more years, that's the reason he got 2.6. It not. I'll be honest with you. I would feel comfortable at 2.2 with him.
Yeah. So you're saying because he's already 25.
Yeah.
They locked up some of his UFA years.
Yeah. So he's losing like 1 or 2 years 2 years as a UFA.
So, really interesting. Yeah, I guess it makes sense that's how they're slotting it in.
That's the reason why behind that, because the next contract, Michael, he's supposed to score 10 goals, right? Yeah. But he should not get more at $3 billion for 3 more years, something like that, right? So for him, I think that both ways works very well. And I think Dickinson, Michael, is going to be a good he's going to play a good role in the Vancouver Canucks. I think Vancouver Canucks, we don't give him, for me right now, we don't talk enough about them. I think Vancouver is going to be a better team what we expect. Is a team can bounce back next year is Vancouver Canucks.
So. I mean, they have to. It really depends on Pettersson and what happens with Hughes, obviously. So they have some question marks. I know they tried to address problems in the lineup.
They don't have a lot, Michael. Check the lineup. You're going to see. Tell me like 3 problems they have. They don't have a lot.
No, they're very deep down the middle. So if Jason Dickinson's your 3rd-line center and Sutter's your 4th, that's pretty good.
Yep.
They got Podkolzin coming in.
Garland, that's a great rookie that we don't talk about this. This kid was going to be the top 10 rookie this year.
I really wonder what his offense is, but I think he'll be a good player. He's more of a North American type player than a Russian, like the way he plays. So it'll be interesting to see. He's not like your typical snipe winger. He's more of a forecheck pressure type guy. but he's got good leadership skills, so I think that'll really help them. I love Nils Höglander. I think he's just going to get better and better. And Connor Garland, I think, was a really underrated pickup for them.
Yeah, Tanner Person, third line is a great player there.
Yeah. So
This
very
lineup right there is not bad. Brendan Sutter, Michael Tyler Mate, that's a good defenseman. Defense right there. So this time is pretty good. Defenseman is a little bit more worry about that one over there. But if ever Ekman Larson, Michael, can play the level he should play, at least like 30-40% were better in Phoenix. I think that team is a little bit better. I think the only time I'm a little bit worried is maybe a defenseman at the bottom. Yeah. But again, Radbaum is not too bad.
No.
You know what I mean?
I think you're right, Pierre. They could really be a very good team.
And they have two solid goaltender.
They do. I mean, I like Demko, and I think bringing in Halak was an upgrade over Holtby at this point.
So I think Halak is going to be solid behind Demko. And Demko right now, I believe now he would become really a good, solid goaltender number one in NHL.
I agree.
For me. I think so. You know what I mean? Like, and then on that lineup, Michael, we don't talk about McEwen, right? Dowling, Giuseppe, that's another one. Justin Bailey, I'm not sure about that one over there. But Michael, we do not talk about Luke Shine and Uli Yolivi.
Olivi, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you talk about that because the lineup you have, we don't talk about this, but I think right there is a little bit more solid there also. So I think overall that team, like I said, I think that team should be a little bit better what we think the people think. I think have a lot of good expectation for them
because they had a very good playoff run, and I think that what we saw was some of those teams like Dallas and Vancouver that had long playoff runs that were unexpected the year before. It really carried over into this season and hurt them a little bit, and you saw key guys get hurt because of that. So I think that probably affected them a little bit this year. But I think you're right. Like we don't talk about them enough. All right, two signings in Detroit. The first is Sebastian Cosa gets his entry-level contract right away at 18. They obviously traded up to get him. I'm excited about this prospect overall, and it's really interesting to me. They're saying, let's get him in the system. Let's start working with him.
You know, like I said, every year those kids going to get signed an entry-level contract. Yeah. He's going to be back in the WHL next season anyway.
Oil Kings.
So I think that's another process. But like you said, they're going to be a part of that. Everything on that is going to be the rookie training camp and next month, and then he will starting to have the following part of the scout or whatever they call them, and then I think that'll be good about that. So that's what I think is a good signature overall to be part right away there.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I think it's the best goaltending prospect they've probably ever had. I mean, they've never had a guy like this.
Don't forget to click on the likes, everybody. That'd be appreciated. By the way, Michael, I see Michael Rosenblatt last night.
Did you where?
At the rink.
Oh, good.
He was hanging there at 10 o'clock the night and was waiting for his mom, but I was referee last night, so Michael was there with his buddy, and so I chat a little bit with him. But
awesome.
Those kids, you know, they are back at the school this week, so you know.
And then Caden Jenkins has joined us this morning. We already acknowledged Brad Marchand's son. Thank you so much for joining us and for your
Caden's the house. Fun to see Blake and Brad in the house this morning. Blake should sure. You know what, Michael? If you Blake Wheeler fan right now, should be excited because that team, Michael, talk about Vancouver. Me, I put Winnipeg the team until they go to Stanley Cup this year.
I mean, I kind of thought last year they could have a run, but they definitely look stronger now.
Well, you know, when I said that, it's like the Cinderella team, right? I'm sure they have better team like Vegas, Colorado, you know that. But I'm thinking a team can surprise everybody like Montreal did or Dallas. I believe that was St. Louis. I think Winnipeg have everything, Michael, to step up to make that run over there, like we said last week, and it would be interesting to follow them. Sorry about that for the contract right now. I know you have another one.
Oh, that's all right. Adam Erne signs 2 years, 2.1. I have to be honest, I thought it was a little bit much. He had 11 goals this year, but he didn't score in the last 9 games, Pierre.
I'm not worried about this because I think it's really follow Steve Yzerplan. He don't give a lot of big contract, but
Nope.
he recognized what Adam did for him.
Yep.
Then he got with the Tampa Bay Lightning, so he's on
Sure.
that. So can he get 500 more per year? 500,000 possible, right? But I think for what he bring around the team, everything like that, that's a bit the relationship between the GM and the player. I believe that's only, you know, what I mean, is it I'm right or wrong? I don't know, but that's the way I see this. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, I really think this is going to be a player that he might.
But Michael, 11 goal in 45 game, that's represent about 15 goal.
It does. I just don't know if he can do that.
I don't know, but I think with the better offensive player, with the better people around, and I think Michael, he will play a little bit a good role of leadership inside that young team over there. I think that's why I believe they lost Bobby Ryan and those, you know what I mean, those old player. But I think that's what I see this at 2.1. Right. That's only what I can explain a little bit higher. And Michael, at the end of the day, 2 years.
2 years, so it's not a long-term risk. If he does the same or better, then you're happy with this number. If he doesn't, then he moves on. It doesn't kill the lineup.
Yeah.
And
I think he was stuck there, Michael. I really believe he's a guy Steve Yzerplan love. I'm sure the kid, I don't know him personally, but I'm sure he's a good human being, and he fit and what Steve Yzerplan does. And that's the reason Billy Michael does.
I think he's from Los Angeles, Pierre.
I think he was an American, I'll be honest with you. But I'm not sure he was like LA.
Yeah, well, I think he played
he was born in New Haven, Connecticut.
He was, but I think he played for the LA Selects. Let's take a look. Come on, man. What is with your site? Yeah, see, he played Los Angeles Selects. So he played on that team. And the LA Selects, Pierre, became a part of the LA Junior Kings after this.
So wow, he played in Indiana Ice. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah. He was a real good player in Quebec. You know, I thought he was very effective there. And he was pretty highly rated. Like, there was a little bit of a question, but he played in that team with Chase DeLeo.
But again, it's a good top bottom six players. And I think for me, that's what I see it. Like I mentioned to you, I think you have a good relationship with Steve Yzerplan.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. He played with Chase DeLeo, who kind of capped out, a little bit smaller, talented player, and then Eric Comrie, who right now is slated as the backup in Winnipeg. And that was kind of, I think this is the last group, Pierre, that were LA Selects before they merged with the LA Junior.
The Kings.
Yeah, I think they were. So he's like, what, a 92 birth year? Probably, right? I think that's the group. No, he's younger than that. He's like a 94, 95. All right, so 95. Okay, yeah, I think that might have been the last group. All right, the other one, so that I think it's a safe pick. You know, if he scores a little bit more, then you're happy, and if he doesn't, it's not going to kill them. So then we saw this morning, maybe it was last night, the UC Saros contract, 4 years, $20 million. He's the number one goalie in Nashville. If you ask a lot of people, he's been the number one goalie for a while. We saw Pekka Rinne retire. I thought this was actually a very good contract for the team.
Yeah, I think you're wrong, but I think it's a good contract. I think he's at $25 million now, but
well, it's listed 4 years, $20 million, $5 million a year.
Yeah, the increase of $1 million. I got this by earlier. That's funny.
Really?
So it was reported by Elliot Philman at $4 million, and then later after that, the report by Scott's. Oh my God, the guy.
The base salary starts at 4 and goes up to 6, and then back down to 5. But the average annual value is 5.
Yeah. So they add $1 more million, right?
Yeah. So he starts year one is $4 million. It goes up to 5. It goes up to 6, and it drops down to 5. So it averages out to $5 million. Oh, and he just So his last contract was 1.5. So he gets definitely an upgrade, like a raise. He's played 36, 40, and 31 games. He's had pretty solid numbers, 26 games. So he's always been the backup, but I think he's been the better goalie the last 3 years as Pekka Rinne got older.
Yeah, but amazing, great year. The reason they won they won all the way to the end is because of him, right?
I agree.
So they won the playoff because of really, honestly. Secondly, is the smartest player goaltender in NHL.
He's like 5'10", right?
Something like that. Yeah. So him or Alak is fight for the.
They list him as 5'11", but I think he's actually 5'10".
Yeah, but that's what we heard about that one there where he was there.
Good morning, Entertap. Thank you for joining us.
Entertap is in the house this morning.
All right. So I think that we already talked about Fealos. So that was the last contract I wanted to touch on. And what we wanted to do today was, again, to kind of talk about the great.
I just want to mention the gets to know. I don't know the second name, the nickname, but they invite the second woman to participate to the camp this year, next week, whatever they call it.
The Rapide or something?
Eve Gascon. So Eve played in the AAA, and then she got invited for the Casino Olympic to join the training camp next week.
I mean, I see nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think she's going to have a real tough time competing in that level. But, I mean, this is good. We want women to play hockey, right? And I think if you expose players like this to the level that, the top level, it's a good thing. And it'll help her. Maybe this is a future goalie for Canada, right? Like, we got to do more to keep developing our players, and if that means that they get an opportunity to go to camp and help out, that's amazing. And if she makes the team, that'll be shocking. I mean, that would be even another level. But
I wouldn't be surprised, Michael, if Gusev is going to Minnesota.
Oh, Nikolai Gusev?
Yeah. And the reason I said, because I just study right now, I'm watching left and right, but they're missing 3 players to be added on the lineup, on the roster. So Gusev and Bozak, I'm pretty sure they're going to find a spot somewhere because they're missing players on the roster. Does it make sense?
Does that help? If Gusev goes to Minnesota, does that help them with Kaprizov?
But I think Kaprizov is going to accept. I think now Minnesota have $13 million, Michael, with 3 players to go. They're going to get maybe a RFA over there, and then they're going to maybe get a $900,000 Gusev. They still have a $10 million to cover Kaprizov. And I think, Michael, I'll be honest with you. If I was them, I know they have a bad contract, but me, I would say, Kaprizov, you want $10 million, buddy? I'm going to get you $10 million, but I'm going to sign you for 6 years.
Right. Yeah, there'd better be term if you're giving a guy $10 million.
Yeah, does it make sense? Like,
yeah, for sure. William Sheffield, thank you for joining us. He was a little bit late because he had baseball and hockey. Caden's still here, and they're all kind of chatting. What are your thoughts on Gusev? Overrated?
Here you go, Michael. So, and I apologize. I tried for a little bit. Darren Traeger, whatever his last name, for TSN, I believe Darren is, or maybe he worked for himself now. Said he got an extension, $5 million. So his first year is $4 million, $5 million, $6 million, $5 million, and now he got a $5 million extra for a total of $25 million.
Yeah. Yep. That's accurate.
So I just want to mention that. So.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah, Darren Dreger, I think, is still with TSN. It's hard to keep track because they've jettisoned a lot of people between Sportsnet and TSN.
Yeah. Gusev is like, obviously never been expectation what they thought about him. And the problem they get is another player where he struggled, Michael, on defensive side. New Jersey did very well first year. After that struggle, he went to the Panthers. Michael, I watched him play, and he have an opportunity to step up, and he did not get what he could be. So, like I mentioned, Team Michael, they have about 5-6 teams in NHL right now. They are low on roster, and to fill up the salary cap, they have to gain under $1 million. So, Gusev, Bozak, Jody Ben could be those kind of players, Michael. They are still like Ryan Donato is another one, Michael. They should look about that. So,
yeah, for sure. All right, so we wanted to kind of talk quickly about 2 teams today. We can't seem to get through 3, so I think 2 is the right number. We keep putting it off, but the Buffalo Sabres, so much in the news for all the wrong reasons. Kevyn Adams, how long until this season? Like 50 days?
Eight. How long the season?
The 55 days? How many days left?
No, right now 57 days we are
57.
this
Okay.
morning. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
October 12th, first night.
October 12th. Okay. So the Buffalo Sabres, we've got all this drama with Jack Eichel. We see the Taylor Hall move last year was a 1-year deal at $8 million. That didn't really work out. In the offseason, Kevyn Adams makes a bunch of moves. So they're obviously saying, hey, look, we're moving on from everything. One, for me, the thing that kills, I don't understand the Sam Reinhart trade. It still makes no sense to me. He's invested in a guy that is good, but maybe at best caps out at a backup in Devin Levi. He lets Ullmark go, obviously didn't want to continue to deal with that, so he moved on to Boston, which is a big upgrade for Ullmark. They're signaling that they're not going to do great because they get Craig Anderson in net. What was the trade for Ristolainen? They got what? They got Robert Hagg and someone else.
First pick.
So I think they got more for Ristolainen than they did Reinhart, which is shocking because Reinhart has a breakout year, plays center, gets 25 goals. Like, what is going on? I'm kind of confused about that. So some inconsistency there. I mean, I don't like their first picks the last 2 years. Well, I mean, it's hard to argue with the first overall pick, so I shouldn't say that. Owen Power was the best player. So I think that's what you expect, right? Like Owen Power was the guy. And so they do get a very good defenseman, and I understand that. That makes a ton of sense. But then they pick in the second is the Isaac Rose, and I was a little bit surprised at this. I don't know if you were. And then last year, the Jack Quinn one I think is very risky because he's an overage player. I really like Dylan Cousins, but I think this predates Kevyn Adams, and Rasmus Dahlin has absolutely turned into the great defenseman that you would anticipate. I mean, right now, though, this team is Calamity Jane. I do like the fact they brought back Don Granato. I think he showed that, he took some of those young American players like Bjork, Casey Middlestad, and Tage Thompson, and he showed that, hey, these guys can play in the NHL. And so I think that's positive because rather than losing a guy like Middlestad or losing a guy like Tage Thompson and not realizing, hey, these guys can contribute, that's positive. And I give credit really to Don Granato, and I give credit for them for bringing him back. But overall, this is a train wreck, Pierre.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how you. Oh, we got another one?
Chicago Blackhawks signed Alex Nylander for a 1-year contract at $847,000. Nylander did not play last season, Michael, because of an injury. So good chance for them. That I think have some upside down, and then I think it's good for him to come back in NHL.
He's very talented. I mean, this guy has all the skill in the world. He's not very tough, and he's not a good defensive player. He's worse probably than his brother on those parts, which is shocking because his brother's like that. But I don't know. I think I'm actually surprised it's so little. But I guess he still really has not established himself. I mean, he's 23. This could be a guy that's, I don't know, it's weird. Like he had good numbers the year before, but yeah, missed the whole year, Pierre.
Yep. Full year last season.
Yeah, that was expensive.
Yep.
Thanks, William, for joining us. Have fun.
Don't forget, click on the likes, everybody. We are going to appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right, so I don't think there's any other way to describe Buffalo other than the biggest train wreck in the NHL. You got to give him I don't know, like just the Sam Reinhart deal alone, the drama around Eichel. Can you give this guy more than a D?
Yeah, you have to give him a D for sure. Is it him signing Jeff Skinner for 9 years? Is it the one?
Botterill. I think Jason Botterill signed him, which is a horrible contract. So
I'm doing a video called the 9-10 worst contract after I did the best contract, and Skinner is number 3 in my list, honestly. And they're going to be stuck with that one for over there. They are on the rebuilding 3.0 at that moment over there. I don't know. He make a lot of different decisions. I don't follow him, and he is right now. He have a hot potatoes right now between his hands with Jack Eichel, and that was going to turn around ugly. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
he's not going to get what he expect from him if they want to trade him. The the good things, Michael, I think is a good thing. It's not a good thing, but what they have. I like Mckissack going to step up.
Yeah.
Olofsson is looking good. Carson is going to be good. I think Asplad or whatever his last name is going to be better. What we
Good.
think, and the
Yeah.
rest, nothing there. Then on defensive side, they have
Dylan Cousins,
Rasmus Allen, and they're going to get also Owen Power. But to let go Renard, to let go Ulmark,
wow.
uh, eh, what do you? Can you build a team over there?
Can't. And he picked up Will Butcher, which I think will be just dead money. Like I just don't see this guy as being able to help them.
But I like the fact they trade Ristotelin, all right, because it's a $5.5 million stock with him. In return that, I'm okay with that. I think in return, this is a good trade overall. But the Renard situation is a problem. That signed back UFA Ulmark. Now we don't know if Ulmark want to live, but you should sign up him before that and not to wait until UFA.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good goalie. I think he'll show he's a good goalie in Boston. He'll probably improve his numbers. If he's healthy, he's like an excellent goalie. He was like, how do you go to Buffalo? And I think he was 17-14.
Yeah.
Well, he's a pretty good goalie. They were very different. Now they've got like a mess in net. But I think that just signals, hey, we're going to try to not worry about this. We got Craig Anderson. We got Aaron Dell. We got Dustin Tokarski. Michael Hauser is going to get an AHL job. Let's just not worry about it. Let's just finish last again. Let's try to get Shane right. Let's get a top guy. You might as well.
Well, that's like that's the one you have to look about that. Now, what is good for them, Michael? They have Quinn, Peterka, Westback. I think that's the tripler right now on the bottom. They are very good. Owen Power is another one they're not signed yet. I think is the one you should look about that. I'm curious about Lukonen as a goaltender. If they want to really believe that, I think they should get Jack Eichel out and then get two players can helping that formation. And then I'll be honest with you, Dallin, Michael, and I will finish with this one. But Dallin is RFA this year, right? And Joke Arju is another good one over there.
He is.
I think he can help him over that one. So we'll be interesting what is the situation with Dallin. Then they can get him a 5-6 year contract. But again, with all the big money there, his kids right now should get about $7 million.
Easy.
You know what I mean?
I think so.
And they have to sign also middle stat, by the way.
Yeah, and I think he'll get I don't know what you sign him to, like maybe a couple mil or something. He had a good season. Can he do it long term? He's got a lot of talent, Pierre. He can really shoot the puck. I mean, he's an exceptionally talented player. That was never the issue, though. The issue is his work ethic on and off the ice.
And they have $28 million, so there's no reason they cannot sign both of them. I think Mckissack, I think for me at 22 right now, for what he did so far, I think at $2.5 million for 2 years.
Yeah,
and then after that, told him about, look, after 2 years, you'll be 24. You still have a UFA 2 more years. Now you can increase at 3.5 or 4 if you play well. He become the best center right now in front Carson. I thought Dylan and Carson is a good player too.
I love Cousins. I think that he's going to be very good. Dylan can play wing or center. He's a big body. He's only going to get stronger. I think that you're going to really love that kid. The Jack Quinn one, I'm really not sold on, but maybe he turns out he was billed as the best goal scorer in his draft class, but he's a year older than everyone. He did get some time in the minors and did okay. So, I mean, maybe he's I don't know if he gets much better from here, but we're going to find out. Like, I think he's got a chance to play on that lineup. They did get Dylan Levy. I didn't think Dylan Levy caps out as a backup. Luukkonen, to me, he's a very good prospect. He played well last year, I thought. So I think there is some upside there. They might be okay in net eventually if that turns out. Obviously, they got Owen Power. Obviously, they got JJ Peterka, who I really like. So there's some pieces there. But yeah, overall, this is a fail.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get some
I just want to remember to give an answer to Enotab about
Sure.
Skinner, because I'm reading a lot about Skinner for the last 2 days, and
Yeah.
look, 33 goal, 28, 37,
Yeah.
24. Now he show up in Buffalo, Michael. He scored 40.
He did.
So then after that, he got $9 million because of that one over there.
For sure.
For the last 4 years before that, he have an average about 32 goals per year with a Carolina and also about that. But he never crossed the 63 point more during that time over there. My point to you is about why he got is when you evaluate a players and the impact and why he scored 40 goals, right? Is it Jack Eklund situation? Because you play with him or without him, right? And that's what the problem when you sign a player like this for $9 million.
It was ridiculous term.
You have to be sure you reevaluate the right one over there. Did he play on power play? How many goals he got on power play? Everything like that. But wait, he scored 40 goals, but he have only 23 assists. So can he get more 65 points? I don't think so, because since he played in NHL, he never reached 65 points. So can you spend someone $9 million for 60 points? That would be something. I'll be honest with you, for what I see, what he did and what he did with Buffalo at that moment, the $6-7 million, Michael, it was the max you can give to him.
I think that would have been the right number, and
that would be the right number for what he accomplished and what he did with Jack that year. 40,
not great. So I mean, listen, I've watched Jeff for a long time. I coached against Jeff in the GTHL. If you know Jeff, he's a really nice person. He's not big and strong. He's great on his edges, but his style of play, he can get worn down very easily. He's a very streaky goal scorer, Pierre. So I think that he got on a hot streak when he got to Buffalo, and that jacked his numbers up. And if you look at season to season, he kind of goes on and off. And I think when they gave him that money, that was just too much pressure on him, first of all, because he's not a franchise player. That's not who Jeff Skinner is. Jeff Skinner can support, and he'll get numbers, and he'll go into long spells of not scoring. And if he's bothering you, all you got to do is put like a checker on him for a couple games, and he does not like that.
No. Honestly, Jeff Skinner should be a second line winger, and you pay those guys usually at $5-6 million every time that. So it's a bad evaluation. Like Tap, and you said it's not the players. Player was like he got Santa Claus the morning, he got $9 million. It's a bad evaluation for the manager over there. And the Buffalo is about they don't have that kind of consistency. Kevyn Adam did not do better what but Real did over there before that. So that's again, you trade the second overall pick, just scored 25 goals for a 7 round. And I don't want to, I want to be respectful for Levi, but listen,
not that good.
Levi is not Spencer Knight, and Levi is not Carey Price.
No, they just got a great return on Devin Levy playing for Canada, right? Like he's not. If you know him, he's at best. I think I'd be shocked if he's more than a backup.
Well, we have Snevnikov or
Shevchikov. Yeah, I like that. Welcome, Sven.
First time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Please hit like and subscribe to the channel. All right, so the other.
I have to give him this a standing ovation.
All right, Pierre. So we now get to talk quickly about the Yzerplan. Sven, thanks, Sven, for joining us. Your last name is Svechkov, right?
You miss an N.
Yeah, then you'd be famous. I wonder if the other Svechnikov will get a contract. He's not going to get one from Detroit because they let him walk. We saw a very active Steve Yzerman, and we've seen him make a lot of really positive moves since he's come to Detroit. I think I said this before. I think it's a real shame that he doesn't get a Stanley Cup ring for Tampa because his fingerprints are all over that team. And you see he's kind of following a similar plan. So he's not giving long-term contracts to older guys. He's kind of let the young guys slowly get more responsibility over time. He signed Rasmussen back. He signed first of all, let's talk quickly the trade of Anthony Mantha They get Jakub Vrana, a couple picks, parlays one of those picks into Nick Leddy, gets Sebastian Cosa after moving the picks around. So basically he gets Cossa, Vrana, and Leddy for Anthony Mantha. Gonna go down as one of the best trades in Detroit Red Wing history. Vrana looks like their top offensive player. Cossa looks like the best goaltending prospect they've maybe ever had. And now they get a number 2, number 3 defenseman in Leddy. So I think this is like, I don't know what pictures he has or magic he has, but that was like a crazy trade. He moves Jacob De La Rose like a year or two ago for Robbie Fabry. And Fabry had concussion issues last year, but overall, this pick has been like Fabry's shown he can score 20, 25 goals in the NHL. He's still a very good second line player. He's running out the contracts on Nielsen. He lets Helm move on. He bought out Abdelkader. So he's kind of clearing out the junk that Kenny Holland polluted the lineup with. And he's given guys like Zadina. He brought in Nemenstnikov, but on a short-term deal, so that deal will expire. He picks up Pius Suter, who had a really, frankly, a very good rookie year with Chicago and has previous experience with both Tyler Bertuzzi and Robbie Fabry with the Guelph Storm. He's shown he can play in North America before this, like in junior. So I don't know. Overall, I mean, obviously they improved quite a bit last year. I think they played pretty much 500 halfway season to the end. And then I like the fact that he brought back Mark Stahl. Mark Stahl that has worked really well. Now he just has really one player to sign, which is Philip Ronick, and he's like turned out very, very good. Nedeljkovic, he steals him from Carolina in some sense. Like they didn't have a goalie prospect like this. I do think Jonathan Bernier day in, day out might be a little bit better than Nedeljkovic, but Nedeljkovic, it's hard to argue. He had great numbers last year and he played really well. And he took the number 1 job. So to get a young goalie like this that has NHL experience, get him 2 years at $3 million a year, buys him a little time to figure out what he is. And if he's not what you want, then, they move on. They've got Cossa on the wing. So overall, I mean, he's done a very good job. I don't know if that's translated. And he's been very patient with the coach, which I was a little surprised at. Like you thought he would have moved on. But overall, I don't know what you give Steve Yzerman. He is obviously following a game plan. The success on the ice is not totally there yet, but you can kind of project there's optimism at least for the first time in a long time. So
Yeah.
if you look at it, what would your rating of Steve Yzerman be?
Right now, I think a B will be good for right now. I think you know what I mean. Like B is really where he is at that moment over there.
Yeah.
Our buddy is going to play in Halifax, play hockey next year, by the way.
Who's that? Who is?
Him.
Who? Sven?
Yeah.
Oh, no
from
way.
Norway.
Oh, that's cool. Where are you playing in Halifax? In the Q? I recognize this name, Pierre. Which league are you going to play in, Sven?
So, overall, if you look about his lineup in front of you right now.
Happy birthday, Carey Price. Is Carey Price's birthday today?
Yep. It's Gary Purley right there. Nielsen was not there. He was not there when he got his contract over there, right? He's the only one signed Gagner at 850 over there. Yeah. DeKesser was not there when, you know what I mean? And Stahl, he signed him, but he dropped his contract from $5 million to $2 million over there. But my point to you is about that one over there. If you look about all the players he got, they are all around 24, 23, 24, 25 years old. So it's really young with them. Nobody have more at 2 years contract, other than the fact he got Vrana, Jacob like 2 years ago. Last week, he signed him for three years. About that one over there. He gave him an extra a year where they're going to become a UFA after that. So I think overall, the only thing I'm not sold yet is a goaltender they got. But again, he signed for 2 years. So for me, That would be the only thing about that. He's not going to be the goaltender he was with Carolina. It's not the
I don't
same
think so.
defensive. It's not the same players. Gruber is not going to have the same number in Seattle, Kraken, everything like that. We'll see how going to Nedeljkovic is going to do. Can he perform like he did last year? That's my question. Not about the number, Michael, about performance I'm talking about.
Yeah,
So that's might be my only concern about that. But
I
again,
agree.
it's a 2 years, and that's it about that. And during that time, Sebastian grow inside that organization where I really believe he should be there in 3 years.
I
The
agree.
Detroit Nation, Michael, if you talk, you follow them, if you talk about the fans base, if you talk that, they are patient. They know it will take about in hockey and NHL, Michael, it take 5 to 7 years to turn a team to the bottom to go all the way to the top.
Yeah,
It's a process of 5 to 7 years. Everything you mentioned right now here inside this for the last 7, 8 minutes, you forget to mention Cedar, Oles, not Oles, Raymond.
well,
You
this
forget
is
to talk about the players coming right there. Talk
right.
about Evanson over there one day. You nobody talk
Costa,
about Shea
Bouillon.
Biom. Biom is going to be a great hockey player
He
on
will
that
be.
organization over there. Wallender is another one we have to
Yeah,
check about him over there. That's the one we look about that one over there. I think
I
is
agree.
another great hockey player. I think we forgot about you have another one I think from Sweden.
Well,
I
so you've
forgot.
got
And
Albert Johansson, who looks like he might be a top four type defenseman. His skating is phenomenal. He's like an elite skater. I
And
like
then run
Soderblom.
up, Michael. We still forgot Zadina, where I believe he did not reach his full potential over there. You just mentioned Soderblom is another one. I'm interested to see Soderblom over there. So they have a lot of good
They do.
potential players coming very soon.
They do.
Uh, I'm really excited about their defenseman upcoming next year. I think he could become a nomination for the Calder at the end of the year. I would not be surprised he can get that one over there.
For who?
Bergring's another one. Nobody talk about those because he's behind about all the biggest main name prospect. But at Bergring's another one we have to watch at some
Bergeron.
point.
Bergeron looks like this is a player who, when they drafted him, he was very slight. He had injury problems. Last year, you watch this guy, his hockey IQ is like another level. Does it translate to the NHL? I think it will to some extent. Let's find out what that is. Is that like Pavel Datsuk, or is he more like a second line type guy? I don't know. But he's very good prospect. I really like him. Veleno looks like he can play. His skills there, his size there. He's a good 200-foot player. He'll be a third or a second line type player. The guy that has had injury problems that might actually be really good still is Jared Mckissack if he can stay healthy. So you're right, Pierre. Like there's a lot here to like. Like they have a very deep cupboard. And
Yes.
Johansson looks really good. And this defenseman looks really good.
So they have a lot of stuff behind that part of it. They just need to be a little bit patient with that team. Like I said, they are patient. The fans are not upset about like Buffalo example, right?
No.
They know with him. So for me, Detroit is going to be a little bit better this year. But
Yep.
again, they have a chance, Michael. For all the 3 years we talk about that, they never been lucky on the draft lottery.
They haven't.
Imagine them, they finish the bottom six this year. Imagine they win the lottery and now they come and they pick Shea Wright or the Russian kids.
Right.
That team and the plan of Yzerplan, because of that kids, they're going to step up. They'll be 2, 3 years earlier to
Right.
become what they're supposed to be.
Yep, I agree.
That's what I feel like that team over there, they are about 1 or 2 years where after that, what depend what rank they're going to get the draft next year and the year after that, what it's going to be. But again, for all the year, they never get that chance to be top 3. I think if they can get next year, that team completely change again for a better and better and better. Because they have a great defenseman, Michael. They have a great goaltenders coming, right? And they have a lot of good forwards going to step up after that. So the future with Rangers and Los Angeles King and the Detroit Red Wings, the Ottawa Senator, they are the team we have to look in the next 3 years. Not right now, after 3 years. Maybe not the Rangers are already a little bit more closer.
They're ready.
But I think that would be another one. I think we have to look. I'm interested to see what Bill Armstrong is going to do, Michael, for the next 3 years. I think we don't give yet you know what I mean? Like he got all the bad contract, but what he's in, he's great. He's building right now a big jump of the draft for the next 3 years,
Yeah,
and that would be something like that. So it
I
would be
agree.
interesting about that one there because you can look Detroit, Michael, how many draft pick they get for the last 3 years. Then Yzerman is there. So on average, about 9 to 12 draft players per year they got right now.
Well, it's interesting you say that because look at what they have coming up too. I think they have a bunch more, so they still have a lot of picks coming up.
You said what, 9?
I
Right
think
now,
so,
I
like
count 9. I
yeah,
did not check rounds 5, 6, 7.
they gave up 1 6th round pick, but he got 3 4th round picks, 2 2nd-round picks.
Yeah.
So he still gets a player. Yeah, I mean, they have so much. Oh, that's weird.
So I think overall, I think that's a good one over there. I give him B. I could slip with B plus. I would not be worried about that one over there. And then, well, a good thing about him is not commit to anyone with bad contract every time that. And the next 2 years, if you go back on the contract, he's going to lose the Nelson contract out. So I'll give him another $6 million. And what he's going to do like this, Michael, is going to be now to looking about pick up 1 or 2 UFA contract or
Maybe,
someone
right?
where he can trade for something better, everything like that. So I think for me, it's really where I'm really interested about that one over there because Nelson is out after that, and then also is losing the Kaiser, and then Lady will be out after that one over there. So that's $15 million, Michael. He can look about different players he can add on that lineup over there.
Yeah, he's got a game plan. The Yzerplan is very structured, and I'm as a fan of the team very happy when I watch Edmonton right now and I see the moves Ken Holland makes. It gives you heartburn sometimes.
And another player, Michael, we don't talk, he's going to lose is almost $4 million. It's a Grease as a goaltender. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's another one he can get a younger, whatever it is. And then, if Nitenkovic can be good, he can have a veteran goaltender over there for another. Maybe Grease will sign at $2 million, something like that, for one more year.
And right now, Grease looks underpaid. I mean, he's shown last year. You know, Bernier would steal games, but Grease would have like 1 and 2 goal games, and they just wouldn't score for him. But his overall, like, he's a very big technical goalie, another German-born player. He's a really good goalie, and like by all accounts, this should be a $5 million goalie.
Absolutely right about that.
Yeah. So the future's bright. It's exciting. Hopefully they take another step this year. I'll be interested to see what Philip Ronick gets. You've got to like Seider coming. Got to like Edvinsson coming. I like Bouillon and I like Wallander also in the wings because those are prototypical Stevie Yzerman prospects, right? They're like 6'4", 6'5". They can skate, and they're going to be real good defensive players with a little bit of offensive contribution. And actually, Shai's got a little bit more offense than maybe we realize, actually. And maybe William too. Like, he can really shoot the puck. He's not afraid to lug it.
Well, all the defensemen over there right now, Lindstrom is the really, really, really one. I love Lindstrom. I love him a lot. Gustav Lindstrom is going to be a good player over there. So I think overall they are looking good. And then Maurice Sailor is going to be a great,
oh my God, yeah,
top 10 defenseman the next 3 years, and that in NHL, to be honest with you. So
I think you're right.
I think at that moment is pretty good.
When you watch Moritz Seider, it's shocking because when you're a coach and you look at the details of a game, defensemen always have some sort of weakness. This guy is big. He can skate. He has an amazing active stick defensively. And if people beat him by stick, he's crushing them. He's not afraid to play physical. And then when he gets the puck, he's a very confident skater. He makes a good.
Yeah, he was the best defenseman in SHL, I believe, last season. He won he won a trophy for that, right?
Yeah, he's like, he might have finished second or first. I can't remember, but
no, he won.
Did he win? Okay,
he won a trophy last year for the best, maybe the best prospect defenseman, something like that. But he was on the SHL. So the kids, they have a lot of good skill and talent over there. Like I said, it's not Kel McCarr, but he could become one of the top defensemen, like an Adam Fox or something like that.
I think he he might be a lowercase Hedman. He's mean.
No, my point is like Adam Fox won the Norris return that, so he's going to be
sure enough, but
I was not trying to compare like him. I was just looking for nomination of Adam Fox on the Norris return that. So I think it would be good about that. So look, I think Bill will be good for him to get this over there. A lot of news around the league today. So going to since tonight, 9:00 Eastern time, I'm going to have a power play show about that one over there. We do the all kind of stuff like that's going on. A lot of good try. Yesterday, Michael, I did the series flashback. Guy Lafleur was on the video yesterday. So, I think, you forget those kind of number he did. It's so unbelievable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, 6 years.
The best player in the game. Don't you think? Like, between Marcel Dion and him, before Gretzky came in the league, Gretzky obviously took things over, but he was the best player in hockey. At
that moment, I think he was one of the best in the NHL.
Like, his numbers were insane.
Yeah, for the straight for 72, 73, 74, 75, 6 straight, 53, 56, 56, 60, 52, 50, right? And look, 119, 125, 136, 132, 129, 125. And then he left for 3 years, Michael, and he scored after that 45 point and 67 game.
It was ridiculous that he left.
It was between Jacques Lemaire and him. Yeah, and the organization, Montreal, with Ronald Corey, everything like that.
Yeah, it was really, 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 really unfortunate because he showed.
Behind that, Michael, you have to be responsible because you have some personal problem. Everything like that, the divorce and himself outside with drugs, everything like that. It was not a good time. It was not the right mindset to play hockey at that moment. And I think he should not take 3 years. I think he should take a sabbatic 1 year, then come back right away and come back with Montreal. I think he will be better. And he was with Montreal that year. After that, Michael, they won the Stanley Cup.
It's really unfortunate.
Yeah. But again, it's happened not only on him, it's happened to other players in NHL where their life is not the right way, and then they have to figure out something else, right? But this player was like one of the top best 10 player in NHL history.
And no helmet.
No helmet. The flower, I'm still remember when he tied the game a slap shot against the Boston Bruins with too many men. They was game number 7. They losing, I believe, was 3-2. And they was losing the game, and they will be out of the playoff after that. And then they come back with a big slap shot and tie the game, and then they win the game. After that, it was Don Cherry behind the bench, head coach over there, like will be forever. You know what I mean? So it's was the best time in NHL, right?
Oh, it was crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a lot of problems with his son.
My next one is Bob Gainey. So I produce one per week, Michael.
Cool.
One flashback. And then I started a series for the fantasy hockey. But now I'm doing another things, Michael. I think something you should join me at some point. So I select 2010 to 2021, a specific rank on the draft. Like right now I'm doing a video about the 5th every year with the rank number 5th overall pick. And I'm going to go this all the way. Surprise me, Michael. Islander is good, right? A 5th for 3 times, and the period of 5 years, they got the number 5, and they screw all the 3 of them.
For the Islanders?
Yeah. So they got horrible. Like example. I'm sorry again?
They were horrible at drafting after Jimmy D left.
Listen, Michael, they got Niedermeyer in 2010, right? And they trade him. After that, the year number 2, 11, they got Ryan Strom. They trade him again. Then after that, they pick Michael Dalcoli.
Which, you know what, honestly, Pierre, we all thought he was going to be really good.
But that year, he was not like, he was stuck with I don't know if you get him right now, but that year, the draft, but the player was before him, and after him, he can get better at what they got to him. but he was
like honestly, like we all thought Michael Cole was going to be a power. He was a big time game breaking goal scorer always, and I think the skating caught up to him. And I think
But
that's
if you look about his first four, it was unbelievable hockey player. Look the career so far. The worst is Sam Bennett.
And Sam Bennett is like, now just coming into his own with a new team.
But again, imagine them to get Nikolai Heller.
Yeah. Or
Kevyn Fiala.
Fiala.
Jacob Vrana. Dallin Larkin.
Yeah. So I think what really happened here, and look at Pasternak way down at 25. Like nobody got Pasternak, right?
Yeah.
So I think what happened was this was the year where there was a change in the speed of the game and skating became super, super important. Like Sam Bennett, everybody's like, hey, this is the next Doug Gilmour. Michael Del Cole looked like, man, this guy was a game-breaking, goal-scoring player.
And then after that, Michael, they picked Josh Osank at 28.
Yeah.
I mean, the draft was terrible.
And if you know Hosang, like we all knew Hosang since he's like 12, 13, you're like, everyone was saying, who's better, Connor McDavid or Josh Hosang? And we're like, obviously Connor McDavid. But he had that type of talent, but he did not have that mind. Like he was not, you knew he was a problem, like just his habits, just the way he approached the game. In the OHL, he had so many problems. They sent him home from camp in the NHL because he fell asleep. He slept through his alarm. Like, it's just weird, That was a terrible pick.
Yep. He's a Montreal fan, or little one over there. It's good to have people like him at young age to follow us and to talk about this. I'll invite you, buddy, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do all the game live play-by-play for the Montreal Canadiens. So hopefully you're going to sign up with us and follow up and click on the little bell to have the notification for all the news we bring for the Montreal Canadiens. So glad to having you aboard this morning, and welcome in Canada. Was born in Canada, Michael, too, and Halifax is a nice place to learn about hockey, and you're going to follow the Halifax most Ed and the QM. A lot of great hockey players was born in Nova Scotia, McKinnon and Crosby. So you're going to learn about all those kind of history about hockey in that area for sure in the East and Canada, Michael, for him.
So Nikita Sherbak-Pierre was another Everett Silvertip. Nikita was very talented, but he's not an intense player. Like he was kind of a softer guy, like really nice kid, but didn't surprise me the struggles he had because the NHL is very hard. And he was kind of like a bit of a homebody, like very talented. Sometimes you look at Nikita and you'd be like, oh my God, he looks like a young Malkin.
But Michael, it was not a bad pick at 26 for Nikita Sherbak.
Yeah, I don't know. He had all the talent to be an NHLer.
Yeah, but my point to you, like as a 26, it was not a bad pick.
Yeah, not the end of the world.
You know what I mean? Like if he was like 12, 13, 15, 14, that's another story. But look at the second round, Michael, the goaltender, Temko and Nedeljkovic was following after that. It's funny when you look about the second round lower, you can see those kind of players over there. Then Brendan Montour was also there after that.
Look at the goalies, Pierre.
What?
Look at the goalies.
Demko, I know, that's what I'm talking about. Demko and Nedeljkovic back-to-back, Vanecek over there. So that gives you an idea. Sometime it takes a little bit longer for the goaltender, Michael, to step up over there in NHL. You have to give this, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody step up right away.
True.
In NHL, it take more time for goaltender as a defenseman also, Michael. So a lot of good players been after that pick over there.
Look at this.
Well, I know. I like the next one, Brendan Point.
And Sorokin. How many? All those goalies in this draft.
But again, like Michael, those goaltender, they step up only this year.
Right. It's been 7
only
years.
Only them go 3 years ago.
Yeah. That's a long.
You know what I mean? So when you talk about Keaton Primo, don't be worried about him. Wait a little bit longer. Wait when he's going to be 24, 25. That's where he step up. Yep. You know what I mean? Like Max Strom, Michael, it took him years to become who he is. Before that, he struggled with Minnesota, with Panthers many years.
It looked like for a while, like, I think they kind of rushed him maybe, like, because he was such a high, he was such a highly regarded junior. He took a long time, Pierre.
Oh yeah. Oh, you took him 5-6 years.
Like he was in the ECHL, I think, at one point, or AHL. Yeah, but overall, this is maybe the normal path. Like he played early,
But it's rare, Michael. Like like Carey Price or Spencer Knight. I think Spencer Knight would be an exception,
yeah,
right? But those or the rest of the look, Chesterkin, Michael, he's 25.
yeah,
Samsonov is 24,
yeah,
25, 26. So it's a little bit longer for the goaltender.
yep. Sven says he's a fan of Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle. We love both those players, Sven.
Yep.
Those are going to be, they're a lot of fun.
I thought it would be good to watch this year. You know what Ottawa is going to do, Michael? They're going to screw the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, because they're going to just mess with every team.
They're going to, they are successful with Montreal, right? But I believe they're going to at least 1 or 2 teams. They're going to be so good against them because that 2 teams they maybe be out of the playoff because Ottawa did what they did to them.
I think that's a good because one, you look at the character of Brady Tkachuk, you look at the character of Tim Stützle, you look the way Josh Anderson played. They've got a good young coach, and last year they loved playing spoiler. I mean, they messed with a lot of teams.
Yep.
I think you're probably right. Like, and then we don't know. Like Shane Pinto might end up being an excellent second line centerman. Like he looked pretty good last year. And then on D, like their D is Brandstrom. Whenever they insert Sanderson,
they miss one down, I think they missed like Victor Mété right there.
Yeah, I mean he's
Mété is better to Holden there.
Maybe.
By mile.
Holden's a veteran NHLer. He's a big guy, right? Like he's like 6'4", so he kind of does what Eric Goodbranson did for cheaper. But you're right. Mete might step up, but Mete's not.
And you miss also the rookie, the 2 name, the 2 name. What's called?
Well, there's Sanderson and Bernard Docker.
Docker, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
he played last year.
I think those guys are going to surprise people. Like they're not very far off. Bernard Docker, I think, will get 30 to 50 games, and he might surprise us. Maybe he does 80.
Yeah.
And then the real guy that you're waiting for is Sanderson because he hasn't even signed his contract yet.
Sanderson is going to be a great hockey player.
Oh my God. He looks like he's like what you dream of as a defenseman. Like a number 2, number 3. Like you're like, oh my God, this guy's so reliable for 15 years.
I just want to insert another tap. You're absolutely right about this, but I will tell you one thing. We talk a lot about Steve Yzerplan, Michael, every time that. But Ottawa have maybe one of the best coach in NHL. He's underrated. Nobody gave him enough credit. DJ Smith, Michael, is one of the top best coach in NHL.
I mean, he's a good young coach. It remains to be seen. Do they?
Michael is better to Sheldon Keefe.
I agree with that because I think Sheldon Keefe has an embarrassment of riches. And I think you see game in, game out, he gets out-coached.
I'm not saying he's not good, but I'm talking about
I agree with
Smith is a great
I think he's better
coach in NHL.
I agree.
Watch him for the next 3 years, what he's going to do with that team. I think it will be interesting about that one over there to follow him for.
Ottawa under DJ Smith are much harder to play against than Toronto with Sheldon Keefe. Like he makes it very difficult for the other team. He makes adjustments. He's not making crazy experiments that may or may not work. He makes them compete. And I think Sheldon Keefe will continue to have that problem.
I think one thing you didn't mention earlier, I think Shane Pinto is also on the lineup over there. He should be part of that part over there. I really like Nicolas Paul over there. Nick Paul is pretty solid defenseman over there. Pretty forward also over there. So I think that team, I don't think so. He's going to be the top 10 player on point as Suzzle. But the next 5 years is going to be one of the top 15 player forward for sure.
This feels like Peter Forsberg 2.0. This guy can be great. He might take a little bit more time, but not much. he's really interesting player.
Yep.
If this happened, it would not shock me, but I think it's probably a little ways away, Sven. I don't think he's quite there yet, but man, he's such a good player. I know that I know specifically other teams that if they had the second overall pick last year, they would have picked him as well. They would not have picked Byfield.
He missed another forward for sure. And the reason they let go that enough, Michael, is to give more time to Tim Sussel to step up.
Yeah, he's just going to get better. And I mentioned Pinto. I think you mentioned him too. Like, if he can become a second line center, then they're in really good shape. But
I think he's missing 1 year before he becomes that kind of kind of center, right? It's not like, but I think he have a for sure over there. I think that's what I said. They missed maybe 1 or 2 forward. They should add inside that lineup that we're helping them because some of them, they are not the right chair. I think Pinto is not the right chair over there. Logan Brown should be not at the right chair. I think Tierney should be a little bit step up over there. But overall, there's a team will be fun to watch. Like Shane some men said, I agree with you about that one over there. So I'm really, really interesting about that. Not because I don't love each one of you, but I think it's time to go for me.
Yep.
10:20.
Everybody.
I think will be very good. Don't forget tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, the Power Play Show will be back, and then we'll be back tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, with 2 other teams to evaluate the GM and see what they did during the off season. So thanks again to watching the Hockey Nation live show, early edition with Michael, the coach Frenchie. We look forward. Thank you so much, everybody, to join us. Don't forget to click on the likes and tap, and also change some, and thanks to be a part of the show. Thanks again. We have a new people inside. Michael Rosenblatt stopped by. Nicola was around earlier. Blake and Mr. Brad Marchand was inside the house also.
Yeah, we're excited about that.
That'd be great to watching each one of you. And I look forward to Mr. Chef Jikov, where you should changing for Zev Nikov. I think I would love your name too that way over there. Thanks again to watching us. And again, we will follow everything around the lake, Michael. Every news we have, we bring you on the Facebook page, and we create video every single day. So thanks, Michael, for your participation this morning. We wish you an amazing, great day today. Look forward to see you tomorrow, Tuesday, August 17th. Have a great day, everybody.